got some folks from Sioux City out here. I appreciate you guys making that trip. All the local media here from Baltimore, from Annapolis, thank you very much for coming out. As you all know, it was an interesting trip coming down from Marinette, Wisconsin with some interesting weather, some heavy seas, but we're here. We are ready to commission a ship in the namesake of Sioux City. So it's an honor to be here. Annapolis has been opening up their hearts and their doors and all their businesses to the crew, and we appreciate that very, very much, and it is truly an honor to be here. So from that, I'll take any questions. Yes, ma'am.
The trip up the Chesapeake Bay. Tell us about that.
We left Little Creek right at dusk to do a nighttime transit up the Chesapeake Bay. Of course, with a warm Annapolis welcome, Maryland welcome, we got quite a bit of rain and some fog coming up. So we transited with 2 pilots, and they helped us get up to help coordinate any traffic coming up and down Chesapeake.
And there were some questions about why the tug, so if you could explain that.
So when we came in, the pier depth here is about 19 feet. We draft 15 feet. And being water jet propulsion, we would suck all that mud up off the bottom and then just create a mud pool around us. And then we would ingest all that mud back into our other systems and possibly clog our filters. So the tugs, when we got out in the center of the basin here, we put our engines at idle, and we just let the tugs push us in for safety of the ship.
Thank you.
Commander, for those who don't know that much about the ship itself, this space, what are we standing in? What would normally be coming in and out of here on a normal mission? So
this ship is what we call the Airborne Mission Zone. It houses it can house 2 helicopters, standard helicopters, the HM-60s, Romeos or Sierras, or we can house 1 of those aircraft and 3 remotely piloted aircraft, which, as in the normal terms of names, it's the unmanned aircraft.
I don't want you to give too many secrets away, but what mission package is the LCS-11 tasked for right now?
So we will get the surface detachment, which will give us 2 30mm guns in addition to our armament that we have on board right now, and it'll give us an 11-meter rib that will go out the stern gate.
Is it true that you guys get ice cream from Siouxland for the life of this ship?
So that's the offer that's been passed. Blue Bunny Ice Cream's been great as a sponsor of the commission committee and a great sponsor of the ship. So they do have a plan to put a bunker on the mess decks and put ice cream for the crew down there. Yes, ma'am.
What do you think is special about the ship, or what are you most proud of when you look at this and stand here?
I'll tell you that this is probably the best ship that's come out of Marinette, Wisconsin. Just like every process in the world, there are lessons learned that is learned, and the shipyard's done a fantastic job of all the previous ships coming out of the shipyard and integrating that into their building processes. And I will say that this is the first ship to get through the Great Lakes without a major breakdown. So it is a great feat, and I also own that up to our crew.
So on your free surface package, will you be taking out any DLOs as well? And will you be armed with any missiles, any Hellfires or anything like that?
So the Hellfires are being tested by another ship,
Right.
And all that's to be determined by Bigger Navy. But we won't take a helicopter for another year or so.
Okay.
And we probably won't get the surface attachment until a year. So we go through a lot of combat systems testing to get the ship through the ringer, so to say. We'll test all of our systems. We will be firing our main battery. We'll be firing the RAM missile up top.
How long will you be in combat system testing?
3 to 4 months. And a lot of that depends on weather.
Commander, I know one of the big advantages the LCS has is it can go closer to shore than almost any other Navy ship. What makes that possible?
The draft. One of the things, we're 15 feet draft forward, and the water jets. I don't have a rudder sticking out of me like a frigate that was 23 feet tall. So I have water jets that are sort of in the hull of the ship. So that makes our draft really, really shallow.
How many man the bridge at one time? It's minimally manned, right?
It's minimally manned, and we typically have 3 people on the bridge. The officer of the deck, the junior officer of the deck, and what is traditionally referred to as the engineering officer of the watch. Yes, ma'am.
You are docked at the U.S. Naval Academy. How many Naval Academy alum do you have on board?
5.
And how many people total?
We have 75 people total. Now, I will caveat that with, we have about 145 people because we are blue gold concept. And the Gold Crew is here in force, helping us get this ship ready and bring to life on Saturday.
Commander, the blue gold concept is a new concept for the Navy in terms of the LCS. Can you explain that out a little bit?
So blue gold is 2 crews, just sort of like the ballistic submarines, where they've had 2 crews for a very long time. And we've adopted that concept so that the ship can maintain its presence abroad. Humans get tired. Humans miss their families. Humans have medical issues. The ship can be repaired in theater. So the concept is it gives this ship the ability to stay forward deployed longer. And what the concept is, depending on what we're doing and what's going on in the world, the idea is 4 or 5 months on haul for blue crew. The Gold Crew will fly over, and then they'll take 4 or 5 months on haul to relieve us so that we come home, we get some training and some downtime.
So we still have
Sioux City many times. Can you give us your feeling about the emotion, the energy, your feeling, and what you've heard on Saturday?
I don't think there's any other another ship that's been commissioned in their namesake city has been phenomenal. But I have not heard, because I was there in Buffalo for Arkansas, or Little Rock, and I'm from Arkansas, and I will tell you that, just like I said, in Sioux City, that's the greatest namesake city there is in the world. You guys open your doors and treat us like royalty out there. The media is fantastic, just like here. But there's no other warmer welcome than I've ever received in my 33 years of naval service than I've received in Sioux City.
Sir, we still have ship riders on this, contractor ship riders?
Yes, sir. So we're still in a warranty period. So if anything happens, there are 2 mechanics and 1 civilian. The mechanics are civilian, but that oversees those 2 mechanics. And they'll ride us to Mayport.
Okay, have you cooked for the crew yet?
I have not cooked for the crew. I will tell you that the transit through the St. Lawrence Riverway and to get here has been very tiring for me and the crew. The first leg of the St. Lawrence Riverway was about 26 hours of restricted maneuvering. The next leg was about 18 hours, and that requires almost half the crew. We report to starboard to get through those transits, to get rest.
The addition of the ship, what does this mean for the Navy overall?
So, as you know, the President and the Secretary of Defense is building the military up, and it's going to take a lot of use off the destroyers and cruisers, because we're going to go and build those partnership relationships that the destroyers just can't get into because they're a draft.
Sir, why should the everyday person be excited about it?
It's a once in a lifetime event for a sailor, and there's 140 sailors here that are around this country. So every part of this country is touched by one ship. The greatest melting pot in the world is the United States military. We get every creed, we get every state, we get every, men, women, every race in the melting pot. And that's what's so great about the military. And that's why it just touches everybody around the world.
Commander Malone alluded to one of the Naval Academy YPs pulling out as you were pulling in.
Yes, ma'am.
Was that requiring a full stop?
No, ma'am. It didn't require us to fully stop the ship. We slowed down, so the OD let the RCO know. And the order was given. RCO OD coming to T-handle 3, which means we were slowing down to where our T-handle was. So we slowed down approximately 3 to 4 knots, and the YP passed safely in front of us.
Thank you.